Saturday saw Cherries rescue a point, our first point at Elland Road, in a game where Leeds United possibly will have been reacquainted with the harsh realities of the Premier League. Were they better than us? Probably. Did they have more heart? Perhaps. But did they score more goals than us? No. Bournemouth's ability to rescue points at the death, it seems to be right up there, as Eli Kroupi, I always want to say Junior Kroupi, I never know which way it is. He struck late in stoppage time, ensuring that Iraola, who seems to rip up the script season on season, gained a point at a place where we've previously gathered 0. What a weekend. A good weekend, Tom.
Yeah, I think so. All things considered, I think I'd like to caveat this next bit because we weren't very good, so we weren't at our best, and we've come away with a point, so you've got to be happy. But the reason I want to caveat is I remember seeing Newcastle going to Leeds and saying we weren't very good, we got a point. Everton lost at Leeds and said we were rubbish today. We had a lot of that last season. Sometimes you got to go, as much as I don't like to, you got to say maybe Leeds are quite good at home, because you don't want to get. It seems like every team that goes there is bad. Well, that can't always be the case. So I think Leeds are obviously, they play a massive part in that. And I think they stifled us really well. I think Iraola said physicality, and they really won that battle. So, yeah, I think ultimately, mate, to get our first point there, the way it happened right at the end, with our player scored his first goal for the club, I think we've got to be okay with that.
Why are you complimenting Leeds, though? Because we've just had a comment on our vlog this afternoon from someone that said that lad in the cap really doesn't like Leeds, does he?
No, I'm not a big fan. We've spoke about all that and reasons and stuff.
There are reasons.
It's okay if you don't like other teams. That's okay. Everyone doesn't like other teams. It's all right. But equally, I could say that I think they gave us a really good game. Really good game. It was a real battle. Didn't look much between the sides at all. I do think we just about earned the point, but yeah, it was Petrovic made some big saves as well, to be fair to him. So yeah, they're going to be a tough nut to crack, particularly at Elland Road.
Well, look, we can reel out all the cliches, but Leeds, like Tom alluded to, it's a tough place to go. And if you're a fan of the Whites, thanks so much for some of the comments that you've had on our vlog. And if you are watching on YouTube, our content on this game is not done, because we do an away day review as well, which it doesn't talk about the football, but it talks about the fans, the people, the experience, the stadium, what it's like in the concourse, our view, and we rank every single away venue that we go to. Why are you giving me a look, Tom? Therefore, if you want to watch that, there are a couple of things you can do, right?
Yeah, click the bell and then you'll see when it's out. Click the like because you like it so much, and click the subscribe as well. We really appreciate that. I'm looking forward to that one because, yeah, I'm not sure how do you describe a fan park? A fan zone for away fans.
Hey, Aaron, because
that ain't it.
Aaron K on the vlog said it was a brilliant experience. I don't know whether that was laced with sarcasm. It might have been, but yeah, look, there are plenty of reasons to maybe dislike the experience.
The pillar in front of us is really nice as well.
Yeah, the pillar's hard.
The no away pubs is really nice as well. I like that part of it.
It's a gritty atmosphere. It is not nice at times, but if you take your Cherries hat off, in many ways, that's what you want football to be. A little bit of needle.
I think once you're in there, I think they're the best home fans in terms of atmosphere. So you like that. It's really good once you're in there and stuff. Joking about the pillar, it's not that bad. There's a lot worse places. We've got Palace away around the corner, which is worse.
So away for that.
But if you're an away fan, don't have to be Bournemouth. If you're an away fan and you don't get an away pub and you get a little fan zone, it takes about half an hour to get a pint, which ain't a fan zone. I mean, it's just a little bit more outside the turnstile for a gap. That ain't ideal. Come on.
No, it's not ideal. But look, we are going to go over it. And where will you rank so far? Because we've had a few away days this season, and the league table is shaping up quite nicely. Liverpool at the moment, I think they're near the top, if not top. So we've got to change that. Can Leeds do it? There's a reason to hit that big red button. But when is that coming out? Well, given the way that the fixtures lie, I think the Fulham game is just around the corner for us, so you'll probably be needing to wait for that video until next week, because we'll be soon after this. We've got a video where myself and Tom will go over the global Cherries opinions in a Gogglebox style sesh that we do. Therefore, right after that, into Fulham content. So subscribe now. So you can unsubscribe after you've seen the next video, but why not do us a favour? That would be much appreciated. Well, look, you could probably argue, Tom, that was a match that we would have maybe lost in previous seasons, but we've just got this ability to hang in football games sometimes.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's, I thought the same when we went to Spurs and won 1-0, and it was a completely different game. We battered Spurs.
But we hung in for the 3 points in that case. Yes. We might have dropped points.
I think we would have conceded last season, and the season's gone by. And in this game, I don't think we would have found that at the end. And I think, Iraola spoke about it a lot, but there's too much evidence of us scoring late goals.
Yeah.
And you saw us kicking on to try and get a winner with like another minute to go, and you're thinking, and I think Iraola even mentioned the Everton game last season.
If that game had gone on for another 5 minutes, I even in the vlog celebrations, I was like, we can go and win this. And that is not just a thing I threw out there. It's something I truly believed at the time, even though there were only 2 minutes left, and even though for large parts of the game we just looked impotent up front. I honestly thought this is going to be happening again. Yeah, and like I say,
there's so much evidence for it that why wouldn't the players believe they can get a last goal, because we've done it so many times. And I think, and obviously context comes into that, because Leeds were ahead in the game till the end. They'd taken off attacking players and brought them more. So we were going to always be the team in the ascendancy for the last minute or two. And we had that little half chance where it dropped. So was it Gallandoke on the edge of the box?
Hit it first time.
That would have been limbs, but you can't have that every time. And but we found a way again, and it's good. It's a good habit to have, mate. Good character shown, because last couple of games we haven't been hit our levels, I don't think, and we haven't lost either of them.
It's a game where Leeds fans would have had something maybe similar last season, where their XG was a lot better than the side in the Championship, but they would probably run out 2-1 winners. They would probably be more clinical against maybe defences that aren't as sturdy as ours and score a few goals. But that's what I mean when it's the harsh realities of the Premier League and taking your chances. And we were maybe fortunate to get out with a point, but look, we need to go over it. We'll take a look at the league table first. So if you're watching YouTube, you can see that Bournemouth are in the lofty heights of 6th position during the game. Now, I think it was a bit different than that, wasn't it?
We were second at one point, weren't we? Oh, we went 1-0 up. Unfortunately, we've dropped out the Champions League spots. Sunderland with another win.
But the form, though, look at that. I mean, unbeaten in 5. That's good, isn't it?
The form's very good, mate, can't wait. We've got Palace after the break. Can't wait to be the first team to beat them, hopefully, because they're on fire. But, we're in a really good place, mate. City try to keep up with us at the moment, bless them. Really good, mate. The only team we've lost to is Liverpool at the end of the day. I said to you off camera as well that we've conceded the same amount of goals as Liverpool, considering we ripped up our defence. It's all really impressive, mate, and go back to the fact that even when we have an off day, we still manage to get something.
I had a WhatsApp from AD Brown, long-time subscriber of the channel, avid Cherries fan, and he said, can we just talk about the top of that Premier League table and the fact that this season's Premier League is nuts? And in his message, he said there are a number of factors, coaching, PSR, etc. But after 6 games, the PL table is actually insane. And when you look at it there, it is, isn't it? Having Sunderland up there too.
Oh, it's brilliant for that. And, it's been a few seasons where all the teams that come up seem to disappoint. But you're not going to get your Southamptons every season. You are going to get teams that aren't bad.
Slight dick.
Of course. But you can't, Burnley are obviously down there in terms of the league table. But you can't say that, that Burnley aren't competing.
No, they are.
But Burnley are competing. They've obviously won the game. But there's even a moment in the City game, they end up getting trounced, which can happen. But they're 1-1 in the game. And there's even you'd probably say, obviously, Wolves aside, that West Ham just sacked their manager for a reason. Yeah. They're doing awful. They went to Forest and won 3-0 this season. It feels like, obviously, there's your top teams in there, but it doesn't feel like there's that much of a surprise when one team beats another team. So Palace beating Liverpool, I thought, a little bit of a... But Palace can do that. And we nearly, we scared Liverpool a little bit. And Brentford beating Man U is not a surprise. And then Wolves, who haven't got a single point, go to Tottenham and nearly win it. It's a really exciting one, mate, and that's because the 3 teams that have come up are so much more competitive, so credit to them.
We might be on for an all-time classic Premier League season. Who knows? So look, we can say it was a good result for AFC Bournemouth, I think, getting the point. Certainly a good result for the women's team. They beat Ascot 6-0, mate.
Shock.
I think it was 3 goals either side of half-time. And the scorers that you expect, mate.
Jenna Markham.
Hattie.
It makes sense.
Sophie Quirk.
With
a brace. And also Jessica Hennessy as well. That was in the League Cup. So they're progressing in that tournament. How far can we go? Who knows?
It'll be a real shock when we lose, won't we? If we do. It'd just be, I'll feel like something must have happened. If I see that they've lost, I'll go with something happened in the game.
The muscle memory to be just so good week in, week out. And Yeah, fair play to Helen Bleaser there that seems to have taken it. Well, obviously, like Steve Cuss was head of the women's team for a long time, and yeah, she's just carrying it on. So yeah, doing a fantastic job. So look, when you go to Leeds United then, mate, you're trying to overcome a lot of things, like the noise they make inside the ground, their unbeaten record at home, which is now 23 games. Yes, 20 of those.
But they hadn't conceded this season.
No, that's right. And also their team, relatively good shape. The history of Cherries going up there, that's another thing that we needed to overcome. And also the fact that this fixture had a little bit more needle by the fact that a certain American was playing in midfield for us. And look, there was an interview that almost felt hastily put together by AFCB, just maybe trying to calm things down, with Tyler Adams expressing that he had a great time at Leeds, the fans are great and all that kind of stuff. And we thought, you know what, we'll try to add to this, feel-good thing by tweeting a certain quote from Tyler Adams that bigged up the Leeds fans. It didn't work that way, their reaction. Yeah. Oh, my God.
Yeah, a lot of them were saying, we hope that Ethan Ampadu ends his season and stuff. I was thinking if he could have got close to him, he might have. No, I thought to be fair, jokes aside, I think it happens. I don't blame them as supporters. You support the club and you go down and your player wants to leave straight away. It feels horrible. So I don't begrudge them booing a player. Not at all. My main concern was how does Tyler did. How was Tyler felt? I thought he was cool. They could say what they want. I thought he was cool, calm, composed throughout. You only have to look at the stats. He barely lost the ball.
He came off with a bit of cramp by the sounds of it, so he'll be absolutely okay.
Made one good crunching tackle, which I like. But yeah, he just used the ball really well. They've got good midfield, by the way. Good for him midfield. But I think they would be lying to themselves. They said he don't get in it.
Yeah.
Come on.
Very true. You know what? There was a few tweets with a combined Bournemouth and Leeds 11, and some people taking exception over the fact that there were too many of one side in. We could talk about that all day, but we had a good game of football. And we had a good trip up there, Tom. I thought it was all right, actually. Nice to actually find a pub.
Yes, we managed to find I guess
we allowed in?
I'm not sure.
Zip.
We zipped up just in case, but we saw a couple. Everyone seemed all right, so it wasn't too bad. But obviously the fan zone at the stadium wasn't actually over till 1, was it? And we were there about 11ish. So we just went in one that seemed all right, kept our jacket zipped up, kept ourselves to ourselves and had a couple in there before walking over.
I think we need to issue a public apology.
Go on.
To Steve Hensman.
Why?
Because we had his tickets.
Oh, yeah, well, you had his tickets.
All right. Oh, so it's my fault now.
Yeah, well, you had his tickets.
Yeah, but I didn't know what the plan was. So I just turned up and then we rocked up to this pub and then not knowing what time the fan zone opened. He was stood outside, not knowing what to do. He missed out seeing Emma Jones, who I gather he's a big fan of. She was just by the statue there.
Yeah, I don't mind her. She's seems like a nice lady.
Yeah, you've met her before, actually.
Yeah. Well, she's had a pickie with me before, yeah.
Was that a football content hall?
Yeah, she grabbed me and just said, "Can I have a little pic?" I said, "Yeah, of course you can, then."
Of course you can.
But no, I think, like you say, we managed to find a decent little pub. So luckily, the early kickoff was Brentford Man U, so we were just as happy because they were obviously happy when Brentford scored, and it's always funny to see Man U losing. And then went over and had a couple more, and it was it was pretty. Like I say, no real traffic and that getting up there. It was all good, mate.
If you're watching on YouTube, you're probably going to see loads of stats appearing on screen throughout. And you know why? Well, we get those from SofaScore. So if you're a football enthusiast, a Cherries enthusiast, whatever you are, there's so much on there. Real-time updates. There's stats that go properly in depth. It's a platform designed to give you everything with regards to football. Tom, have you cheated this week? And have you looked at the man of the match rating?
No, I haven't. I remember doing it last week and thinking, I can't do that. Because I do like to check it out for different bits and bobs. But no, I haven't seen this week, so I'm interested.
So look, if you download the app, we'll put a link in the pinned comment. It's also in the description. If you're watching it on your TV, just flash your camera at the QR code on screen and then click the link that appears, because then you can download it free of charge. But it's a great footballing app. We're not just saying that. The stats and features on there, and also it's a customizable experience as well. So I've got AFC Bournemouth as my favoured team, which means all the alerts come through to me, and every download also helps the channel as well.
You can do because obviously you can go through loads of stats with all players and stuff, and you could select individual players and things. So I like doing it when good example was the other day, Adu Ajayi, who was a youth player for us and has now gone out to Croatia. It's quite hard to find out the Croatia team do. So I've got Adu Ajayi, so I can see how Adu Ajayi got on. It's great. Great fun. Yeah, it's great fun.
You can also You can also go to afcbpodcast.com/SofaScore as well. Every download helps us out. So team lineups came out at 1:45. Kudos to you, by the way, mate. Kudos to you, because in the preview, you called a few things with AFC Bournemouth right. Firstly, you got the Leeds lineup completely bang on, although it was mainly unchanged.
Yes, I felt it was quite, don't give too much credit for the Leeds one, because they had just won away at Wolves and had a whole week break. I didn't see them changing anything really, so I didn't force anything on that. For us though, we haven't been starting Christian Kluivert. I felt it would come soon, and I just decided to take a punt that it would be in this one, and it was. But then blimmin' Iraola decided to just throw one more little curveball in there and chug Adley in. So I wasn't too 11 out of 11s. I was 11 out of 11 and 10 out of 11, which I'll take, mate. But yeah, I was happy with it. I was surprised that that Adley was in.
Yeah.
But no qualms with it, mate, and a strong bench. Shame for Lewis that he wasn't fit enough to make the bench, because obviously he's come through at Leeds and done really well there, so I'm sure he would have liked to get on the pitch. But
and they would have given him a good reception.
Yes, he'd have got a good one. So yeah, real shame for him. But apart from Lewis, really, it was a really strong squad. So I was really happy. I was glad that Jimenez got another crack at right back as well. So I was pretty happy with it.
Hey, we've noticed something about our starting 11, haven't we?
You've noticed. I'll give you credit, mate. You noticed it. I think Ash did as well, who we went up with. I didn't, and then you said it. I thought, blimey, I think you've got something there.
Yeah. So it seems to be that this 11 has got no English starter in it, but we've gone back through the records, and we can't, in the Premier League that is, and we cannot find a single starting 11 that doesn't contain an English player.
I know you said it in the Premier League that is, but before the Premier League, there's no way we wouldn't have.
Oh, no.
So this could genuinely, I'd love to know if someone knows any different, this could genuinely be the first 11 that Bournemouth have ever had that hasn't had an English player starting.
Wow.
And you think of, we were talking about it, you think of how ever-present Adam Smith is, and then when he's been out, Lewis Cook played virtually every game last season because he went to right back. Tav's in there if not, then Scott's in there if not. Before that, you've had Kelly, you've had Solanke, you've had Wilson, you've had Cook, that were such regulars that, I didn't realise that is... and all no English in there, which is a real surprise. I suppose you obviously got a British and you have got Ryan Christie, but no English. Obviously had a few on the bench that come on and stuff, but very interesting.
In hindsight, Tom, it's so easy to say things in hindsight, but maybe a bit of over-tinkering with the lineup, especially when players like Brooks were doing so well. And when he came on, he showed us exactly what we've seen in his previous performances. I know we need to rotate. The nature of the Premier League dictates that. We don't want to have any injury crises that we've had in previous seasons. So maybe Iraola's learning a little bit, but just seemed to be that, especially Adley that came in, didn't particularly get to the game. Yeah,
what I will say is that I think a lot of people before this fixture would have said what was our weakest performance of the season, especially offensively, going forward, creating chances, having shots. It was Newcastle, it was the game before. So that's kind of an indication to why you thought I've got a good chance to change it, because we didn't create anything.
Yeah, that's fair.
The only shot on target we had in that second half was a Justin Kluivert free kick, wasn't it, against Newcastle?
Yes,
so
it was,
we didn't create enough. So it kind of makes sense. I think the main one that I thought would definitely play was Christie, because nothing against Scott, but as we saw in the game itself, very physical in the middle of the park. So I felt that was needed. I actually thought against Newcastle it was one of Tav's better performances. So he was the one I was most surprised about. I thought of Tav or Brooks. What I will say is Tav comes on and Brooks comes on and Scott comes on, and they all do really well when they come on. And they come on and then we get the late goal. So all they've done is gone, you've left us out of the game, boss.
I'm here.
We're back. So really healthy competition. But I see what you're saying in hindsight. And Adley, unfortunately, didn't quite work. But you've got to give these lads a crack at some point.
We might be skipping on a bit, but a couple of people on social media noticed that Tav seemed to exit the pitch pretty quickly, almost upset at something or annoyed. Did you notice that?
I didn't notice that at the end of the game. I noticed there was a point just before we equalised that he was really annoyed at something, and I think it was, do you remember when we thought, oh my god, is that a penalty? It was like a scramble in the box and they got a free kick, but I thought he was just angry at the official. But no, I don't know what it could have been, but he was annoyed at something.
And speaking of the officials, I actually think that Michael Oliver had a good game.
I thought he did all right. There was nothing
sorry, Tom?
There was nothing to note that I can remember being like a horrific decision or anything, to be fair.
Right.
So
we've got a pretty good record under him as well now, haven't we?
Yeah, our record's not bad under old Mickey. Yeah, I'll tell you that. Yeah, I remember him.
So look, the game started and it was all Leeds really, wasn't it? I mean, Petrovic was called into action a number of times early doors.
They scored after, was that 30 seconds? When they just played the ball through straight away and Calvert-Lewin was in. He hit it kind of, I think we managed to take him to an angle where he hit it and Petrovic is always going to save it. But nice move from them, and kind of a good little indication that they're gonna cause us problems. And and then when we got the ball, I felt like we were we were probably getting most of the ball up their end, and we were looking to try and make something happen, but they looked like they could hurt us on the break at times. It felt like what we were doing was, I don't know if it was a ploy, it felt like we didn't back ourselves to beat Calvert-Lewin in the air. So every time it went up to him, we sat off.
And then tried to get the second ball.
Yeah, and thought if he brings it down, I mean, not being horrible, but Calvert-Lewin's not going to burst past you with pace and be really creative. So it might have been a thought, but I like someone like a Diakite to back himself a bit more in them aerial duels.
He's certainly a handful, isn't he? And if they can keep him injury-free, he could be their talisman this season, and especially at home. Home form is going to be so important for Leeds. And just feeding off the crowd, you sense that the players were doing that. And it felt like, especially actually for large parts of the game, it felt like they were winning most of the 50-50s, etc. I mean, I think Tyler Adams was very good, but in other areas of the pitch, it just felt like they had just more about them.
Yeah, I think like you say, that some of the 50-50s and the little duels, they seem to be coming out with it a little bit more. I felt in the first half probably not so much. I thought we weren't too bad in the first half. I think they certainly were even better in the second. But yeah, they were. Even though it felt like we had more of the ball and like something was going to happen, they had the clear chances. I mean, Calvert-Lewin's, one of them is an unbelievable save.
Really good save.
For Petrovic. And one of them is a horrific header.
Yeah.
So really bad. He's got to do better though. But yeah, we were doing all right. I think we had a couple of little chances. I think Christie blazed one over the bar. And
he blazed a couple over, I think.
Yeah. So they ended up not coming to anything, but they were probably better moments than the shots ended up being.
We had to manage on a yellow card. Well, Jimenez did, because he got one after 18 minutes or so, which meant that he did okay, didn't he? I thought.
I liked him in large parts, and I've liked what I've seen of him, considering he's only just come to the club and he's, getting into grips with, a new backline, etc., etc. But what he's doing is he's messing himself up by getting a yellow, and then it affects his game because he gets that yellow, and then he gets done not long after because he can't commit.
Yeah.
What I will say on this occasion, because this is his third yellow in 3 games, and he's only started 2. Is this yellow I was happy with. They were breaking. If he don't pull him down, we're all going, why are you letting him run through there? So, and
probably learning from the last time, even though, I mean, they might have even watched the game and they've been, I'd been interested to know which players are still there from that three seasons ago. Yeah. So, look, they did register a few shots. We did as well. I think before Semenyo's free kick, they had double the amount of shots than we did. I think they had 6, we had 3. A couple of those, like we say, were Christie's. We're looking at the shots chalkboard on YouTube, and later on we'll just look at the total shots that they registered. But we had a free kick. It was very close. It was where Christie was cynically fouled, wasn't it? But it was maybe too close for an up and over the wall, wasn't it? So, and you said this after the game, and you've said it to me previously, like, why don't we just hit it late? Yeah,
it was really weird how things like this work. Me and Mark Jackson we're talking at the pub randomly. I think we were talking about the game before, and our only chance was that Clivert free kick. And we said, when it's that close, we've got someone who can hit a ball.
Yeah.
Why don't we just let Semenyo smash it? It was so weird that it was before this game that we were talking about it. Also, as well, by the way, Christie was the one that won that free kick on the edge of the box against Newcastle, and he done it again.
Yeah, true.
Quite, because he's so erratic in and around the box, people just clip him. But yeah, I was really pleased to see Semenyo over it. But then you think, they've got the blimmin' draft excluder.
You know what? And I actually went on to Grok, right? And you can create like images with Grok.
Yeah.
And I typed in, create an image of a Leeds fan shivering behind a door that's got a massive gap underneath it. And I was going to put a caption with it like Leeds' draft excluded or something like that. It didn't generate it properly. So that tweet has gone. But when you got Antoine Semenyo stepping up, I think one of the things is him, it's just the sheer power.
Yeah, I think the majority, I mean, don't get me wrong, don't want to disservice him. He scored a lot of really good finishes and really smart goals in his Bournemouth career, but the amount of goals that have just been power.
Yeah.
It's just been, do you remember like the comeback against Luton where he just smashes 2? I mean, he just hits them so hard.
Yeah.
So yeah, if he gets it right, it's going to be very hard to stop. I don't know if that kind of kills the myth of draft excluders now, because, I mean, he hit it at him. Really? It's just too powerful. Just I don't really know, but we needed that moment. Really pleased for him, and it was. That's what we felt. We said it before the game. They're going to be really tough nut to crack if we can get the first goal. And then I just thought if we can get to half time now, I think it could be ours, but unfortunately not.
I would love to know and see what the reaction was from the opposition for the very first free kick where a team deployed the draft excluder method. It was probably in Europe, I'm guessing, rather than in the Premier League. But the first time that happened, players must have been like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
But it's now commonplace, isn't it? And
I think it was in a tournament like a World Cup or Euros where a wall jumped and someone just put it under the wall.
Yeah.
And that kind of alarmed everyone to it.
I'm sure like either Steven Gerrard or Frank Lampard. I think
De Bruyne's done it as well.
Oh, you know what? That's in an FA Cup match.
I think it was De Bruyne.
I want to say against Cardiff.
I mean, that's
weird if it is, but Man City played a Welsh team. I think it might have been Cardiff in an FA Cup game, and he just put it underneath, and that's when you need the draft excluder.
Why was there Welsh in the FA Cup?
Why? Who knows?
Conversation.
Look, when I'm thinking about this now, so first goal, set piece.
Bloody Welsh goal scorer now, we just said that.
Second goal,
Joe Roda.
Set piece.
Yeah.
Third goal in the game, I mean, it wasn't a set piece, but it was initially a corner. Fourth goal, set piece. This is a game of set pieces, but it was Rodon that rose highest with the header, and Semenyo loves scoring goals, mate. That flick did elude Petrovic, didn't it?
It did. I looked at the time, it looked too weird that Petrovic didn't save it, that you kind of knew without seeing it. You look at it back and go, it's just a little touch that he's going straight in his hands. Rodon does well to get the head on it, and you can't blame Semenyo, he's trying, but it takes that little flick and goes in. Shame, because we've been pretty solid defensively. As I said at the top of the show, proceeded the same amount as Liverpool and got quite a few clean sheets in there already this season. So it was a real shame, but it was a good header from Rodon, to be fair to him. We were close to half time. I know we were, because I was a minute away from getting a pint. We just couldn't quite hang on till half time.
So when I'm filming the vlog, I was obviously at that end, filming that end. So it was a very small pan to their away fans. And I've asked this on the AFCB podcast group chat, and this is a question to Leeds fans. Like, what makes you so different? Like, I'm not being funny, I'm not trying to diss our own fan base here, but if we scored a goal like that and we brought it back to 1-1 at home, the limbs would not be anything like it was. And I've referenced this when they had a penalty in the 4-3 after 3 minutes, where you've got 80% chance of scoring, right? And they score, and I've never seen flailing arms like it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to flail on YouTube. People on the podcast will just get what's going up and down, so you won't get that. What is it, Leeds? Why is it that they're just so well up for it?
Yeah, no, I don't know, mate.
Is it the party powder?
I haven't got a clue, mate. There's something going on, isn't there? But no, fair play. Yeah, they do. They do certainly like to celebrate a goal well. Yeah. It's like I say, you don't see that particularly with home fans a lot. It doesn't feel like at home grounds you have such a big section of people that are all well up for it and singing together and in harmony and stuff. So yeah, they were, and that was when I was like, I'll definitely get a point now when they started celebrating, I must say.
So the half-time XG was Leeds had 1.15 versus our 0.35. So it wasn't pretty good. They were feeding off the crowd, like we said. And the second half, it was quite scrappy. But then I just seemed to recall a moment. I wasn't up that long before. Don't know if they were trying to shepherd the ball out of play or what, but it was just there for a while, getting caught under feet. I think Christie maybe tried to dribble it out, lost it.
Yeah, it looked like he won it back, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. And then, the ball went into the box. It was half blocked.
Good block, yeah.
Good block. And then...
I think it was Celeste who blocked it. I think it was Adley that was with
was
Christie.
it Adley?
I think so,
okay.
yeah. I might be wrong.
And then falls to Longstaff.
And you think, at least it's only fallen to short Longstaff. We'll be fine. What a hit.
He was leaning back. Funny old technique, but it's weird because it looks like an incredible goal. It's always better when they come off the post as well, or crossbar. He was leaning back, so it almost felt a little bit unintentional, but it was a weird strike. But you look at it back, I mean, it's beautiful. It's a really good strike. Petrovic had absolutely no chance, and at 2-1, I'm sat there thinking, here we go again. Here we go again. The Elland Road curse, whatever it is, it's happening.
I know. It was frustrating. I didn't see once we took the lead, them turning it around so quickly, just after half time. So, yeah, they really come out second half. On the front foot, fair play to them. A lot of sides, I think that's the difference, isn't it? A lot of sides, I think, come out and go, right, let's test the waters first 10, we're in the game, it's 1-1, but they seem to the crowd seemed to give them an edge, and then they proper went at us straight away, and we didn't cope very well for the first period of that second half, in my opinion, until we made the treble change, to be honest. I don't think we were coping, and it's a very good hit from Longstaff, and it nearly hits Evan Ilson, a bit like our winner, our equaliser at the end nearly hits Evan Ilson. Both their goals nearly hit him. But it's a hell of a strike, mate, and it would have been quite a worthy one to win a match, but fortunately it wasn't the case.
I think Sean Longstaff was the first Leeds United player Opta has on record to create 7 chances and win 10 duels in a league game. He covered over 12 kilometres per game so far.
I don't have to look at the SofaScore stats to know that he was man of the match.
Yeah, I mean, What an astute signing that is, actually.
I think it's a really good sign. I think people forget that
he's not a glamour player.
No,
but
I think
he just works so hard, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think that's a good way of putting it. He's not a glamour player, but the amount of times when Eddie went in at Newcastle and the amount of unbelievable nights they had at St James's and stuff in the Champions League and different big results, and he was always part of it. I remember their route to their first final in the League Cup, and he's always popped up with goals, but he's also just everywhere. He's a bit Christie-ish.
Yeah, I think Howe, as a manager, he's always had his favourites. Even at Bournemouth, he knows that if he needs a bit of stability, he can always chuck a certain player in, and Sean Longstaff was one of them at Newcastle, and now he's at Leeds. He's going to be thriving in that side, and he works hard.
Yeah, and I think fair play to him as well, because I think he would have known that with Eddie he'll come in and out of the team, but he's going to be in the Champions League. He'll come in and out of the side. Eddie likes him. He's decided I need more minutes. They're quite strong in that midfield, Newcastle, and he's gone to Leeds and managed to get himself in there because they've got good players in that midfield. I've got to be honest, when I was looking at that midfield three, he was the one I was least thinking about, and I think that says it all about him, as you don't think about him as much, but he's I thought he had a very good game.
Triple change then, Tom. What happened?
Cliver, Christie and Adley came off, so the three that come in, and Tav, Brooks and Scott came on, so it was kind of how we have been recently. And I wasn't surprised with them changes at all. I think it made sense. I don't know if at the moment Christie's not quite, he doesn't trust him to play 90, because I still felt, do we still need Christie's? Even though we didn't have the best game in the world, I still think that his energy's helpful, his harassing's helpful, but maybe he thought we'd have more of the ball now, so Scott can maybe open something up. And I actually think all three of the subs play well.
Can't really remember. So there's this period of the game where I can't really remember much happening. That's about a 10-15 minute period. I remember Leeds had a hell of a shot. Was it Aronson who had the shot? I can't remember, but it's a shot from distance that Petrovic did well to save, and he palmed it out wide, which is good. We didn't really do a lot, but we made a couple of changes that actually helped us quite a bit, and one of which was bringing on Ben Gannon-Doak, and there was a bit of a shape change as well, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was a shape change. I thought he's coming on for Jimenez, so it's a winger on for a full-back, so it'd be interesting to see how we looked at that. And what we've done at the start was we moved Diakite to right back by the looks of it, and Adams went back for a bit, and then Gannon-Doak went over to the left, Brooks went into centre midfield. It was all,
and then Tav was on the right.
Tav was on the right, and then obviously we brought on Kroupi for Adams, so then Diakite went back in the centre back, and then Tavernier went to right back. So by the end, mate, we had David Brooks and Alex Scott as our two centre midfield players. We had Tav at right back. We had Gannon-Doak, Semenyo. We had Cliver obviously on the pitch, Kroupi, Cliver off the pitch, sorry, because Kroupi and Evan Nilsson were on. So we were very much chucking the kitchen sink at it. And sometimes I think it was actually on a podcast I was listening to, and they were talking about how changes from the coach, they're not just, they tell the players what you're thinking in this game. And I think when you make that many changes attacking, it's telling you to go for it.
Yeah, and also it just surely disrupts the opposition. As much as we've been talking about the kickoffs where they do sort of weird things, you're trying to change the way the opposition are thinking and the way they deal with things. So three very different players.
Yeah, no, definitely, mate. And and we knew then that, and understandably so, Leeds were going to let us have more of the ball, and it was about creating stuff. And I didn't feel like we were creating anything. Probably to his credit, I don't think we were creating anything until Gannon-Doak come on.
I thought he was really good.
Yeah, I thought he was lively. He was beating his man well, and he's not predominantly a left-sided player. He plays more on the right. So yeah, I thought it was a nice little introduction from him, and he was beating his man, trying to put some balls in. We were trying to get some balls in on both sides. That I actually thought Traffair was putting in some poor crosses for a while. He overhit a few that were frustrating. But yeah, it was bobbling around the box, but we weren't creating anything. I just thought, this ain't going to happen.
Kroupi had a couple of half chances.
The one he hit in the ground. What I will say is, and obviously it's easier to say it now because he gets the goal, but if you're a striker and he's coming on and straight away had a chance, and you think that must be because he's in the right position. Yeah. And then at the end, who's the one it falls to? Yeah. Him. So that must be that instinct of a striker. And he's a goal scorer.
So look, this goal, I mean, it's a similar free kick position to what we've had before at the death in a football match, right?
Yeah, Villa Park. We had one literally last kick. We actually sent the keeper off for that one. I remember it was Travers, and it was from that left side, and he went near post and Evan Nilsson flicked it in. This one went back post. A lot of credit for Senesi, by the way. Yeah, another assist.
In a game where we probably weren't winning as many duels as we should, Senesi won the main duel that mattered at the end.
I want to give him credit though. He didn't just win the header, he guided that header to the back stick. Yeah. He could have just got up and flicked that. He's guided that across.
And you know what? The technique from Kroupi is actually really good.
It's a really good finish.
That's actually so difficult. When he's in that position, it's coming to him relatively high and he's got to angle his body.
Swivel a bit.
And then see it past the keeper, just try to guide it off. What a finish it was. It's a natural instinct, and my God, scenes.
Yeah, I always do the usual go, oh my God, he's going to be offside. I don't know why it felt like he looked like he could be.
There was actually a half a metre.
Yeah, but it's so weird, isn't it, when you're in there? You just instantly go, oh my God, he's going to be offside. But yeah, as you say, mate, hell of a finish. And and I was similar to you. You get buzzing. Obviously, you've scored a late goal. You think, I've just scored a late leveller. But because of previous, you kind of think, God, could we get another one here?
Yeah. When it falls to Ganadoke at the end. Yeah. You just wanted him to hit it first time.
It would have been harsh for them, but I wouldn't have minded. But yeah, as you say, mate, it was a lovely finish from Kroupi. And as I say, you know, we haven't seen enough of the guy. Played in a cup game where everyone was off it, and then he's just been an impact sub. I've always looked at him and thought, and Andoni's alluded to the fact that he's come from the French second league. This is a big step, the Premier League. I think, you know, I'm not being horrible with the French league, but that's probably kind of League One, League Two-ish.
Yeah.
That's a big step up. So he's only been coming on, and I thought, is he going to be ready? What I will say is, I think he scored 13 and 13 last season. If you're a goal scorer, you're a goal scorer.
Yeah.
And if the ball falls to you, it doesn't matter what level you're playing at. If you know where that net is, and it could be a little weapon for us, I think, just having, because I'd absolutely adore Evan Nilsson. Is he that type of striker? No. I don't think Solanke was ever that type of striker, that kind of instinctual poacher striker.
Yeah.
And Unal's not when he's fit. So to have someone that might be able to be a bit of that could be vital in the latter stages of games when we're pushing, mate.
I want to talk about Eva later on, for sure. And whilst we are talking, I've been putting on the stats for the shots on YouTube. So if you're listening on the podcast, what you're doing, get to YouTube, because you can see a load of figures on the screen brought to us by SofaScore, and also their heat maps as well. Now, whilst we're talking about heat maps, look at this. AFC Bournemouth had 16 touches in the opposition's penalty area. Leeds had 35 in ours.
Yeah, that shows.
More than double, mate.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot more than I thought. I thought they probably would have edged it, so I didn't realise that. I mean, I suppose if you want to go a different way, does that mean we're defending most of it quite well? Because obviously, if they're having that many chances, they're not. I mean, Longslash was on the edge of the box, wasn't it? One in the box.
It was on the edge. Yeah.
So they've only scored one header from it. But yeah, a little bit. I think what was happening, I don't know if, apologies if you were going to get onto this, but I was going to say that I don't know if it's sometimes Eva was coming so deep to try and help and we weren't really getting them bodies into the box at all times.
I think it's a good time to talk about it then. I think that... I
thought he started the game really well.
Exactly what I was going to say, like first 5 minutes, but he was coming so deep to get the ball. We're not finding him he makes these runs all the time, but he's not being utilised as much. He's not... I didn't sense that... I can't really remember, but... I can't remember many times where we tried to find him down a channel or a pass or anything like that. He seems to make these endless runs, but he's not being utilised enough. I don't know whether that's his problem or everyone else's, but I don't know. He just seems to be in a position at the moment where he's not, I don't know. He's just not, I can't remember him having a shot either.
No, I can't. I kind of... Yeah, I'm getting a little bit frustrated that we're not finding them earlier because, I think they were the centre halves of Leeds, Road on a Stroik were both playing a good game. But I'd back Ever in a foot race for one of them two and kind of, running down on them two. And we never gave him that. As you say, sometimes maybe he is dropping too deep. Maybe he's getting asked to do that. I'm not sure. That's where at times I know he didn't start the game, but your players like your Alex Scotts, who we know can find a pass. What I'd noticed, I didn't think Celesi played them balls as much as he normally does.
No.
Normally you fight it for Celesi, and a player that I think does it a lot that we don't give him credit for and we're noticing now is Adam Smith.
Yeah,
when Smith plays, how many times has he whipped that ball in the channel?
True.
And I think when Hill's played right back a few times, he's tried it. It's almost like he done that one against, was it Fulham, where he found him really well last season. And Jimenez is obviously new to the side, so whether that hasn't quite clicked yet, and obviously Trofea kind of is. So,
true.
But I kind of, you want them fullbacks kind of playing them balls in the channels a little bit because obviously you've got Adley on this occasion and Semenyo coming in. You want them to provide the width and then whip balls. But yeah, I think it's a combination of all things. I mean, you can never hide away from his work rate. I mean, the guy doesn't stop, but is he almost working too hard? And does he need to kind of go away for a bit ever?
Yeah, maybe.
But give credit to Leeds as well. They defended pretty well.
And the average positions that we're looking at on YouTube show that in terms of the outfield players, most of which were in their half. And as the game went on, we tried to push and Leeds got a little bit more defensive. And also we're taking a look at the most touches as well. So Senesi had the most with 117, which again probably points back to the fact that Leeds had more touches in our penalty box.
Yep.
Senesi was doing well to win that back. Traffert had the most touches in the opposition half with 51, which kind of surprises me. And the final third with 31. So looking at a few players, we mentioned Ever.
Yeah.
I think, talking about Adley, obviously he's getting to grips with life in the Premier League, but that was disappointing.
It was. I think there was... what I will say is we saw that first cameo he did for us when he come off the bench, and you think, bloody hell, we've got talent here. And then it hasn't happened since. We haven't seen anything. So we know it's there. It hasn't worked for him. I mean, the last few times I've seen him, I just thought, I can't remember him doing anything, which is a bit of a concern. And I think, now you're looking at it going, because I expect Brooks to come back in for him for the next game. And now you're going, if we need to change it, you're probably going Gallon Doak now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was a little bit frustrated for Adley. I thought him and Les done all right.
Yeah. Christie, I think you can tell that he's not quite there yet in terms of fitness.
Agreed. Yeah, he's not quite there. He's still doing enough to be important in the game. But yeah, you can see he's not had a proper pre-season, which I think people forget. Yeah, if you haven't had a proper pre-season, you're a little bit behind in every fitness level. So he's getting there, mate. He's getting there. And I think that'll be he played a good hour. Yeah. And it'll only be the better for that.
Okay, so man of the match and ratings from SofaScore, the app to use. We've spoke about the fact that you think that Sean Longstaff was the man of the match throughout the whole game.
Got to be.
And there it is. Yeah, it is confirmed that he was. And for Bournemouth, you can't see this. You on YouTube can, but who's your AFCB man of the match?
What I'm most concerned about is that I've been saying how well Tyler Adams played. I really hope Tyler Adams has a better rating than Ampadu.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be Marcos Senesi.
It was Marcus Senesi with 7.9, and Tyler Adams did score more than Ampadu.
Oh, yeah, he did, yeah. And Stack didn't do very well either. Yeah. No, I think Longstaff thoroughly deserved it. Played really well. Rodon obviously scored a goal as well. I forgot then. I'm glad I didn't think about it. I was thinking about all the outfield players. I would have said, actually, Petrovic, but maybe because he let in 2. That affected his score. But again, I think we need to hats off to Senesi because, again, he was brilliant. He's been brilliant in virtually every game this season, and he's had an assist as well. I believe he's the top scoring defender on Fantasy Premier League. I believe Semenyo is the top scoring midfielder. They're doing pretty well. But yeah, I think that's kind of what I thought, mate. That is kind of what I thought, and I think you probably look at that in general and you go, yeah, I can see why that game was a draw.
Yeah. Happy days. Well, there you go then. Bournemouth, I think overall we are content with a point. Leeds, not so much, but, taking a point beforehand. Would have we? Probably. So maybe it is a fair result. Look, stay tuned because there are some global Cherries fan opinions coming up, which myself and Tom are going to dissect. And look, for Bournemouth next, it's Fulham at home. Maybe a chance to finish before the international break by picking up 3 points at home, but that's going to be a tough one.
Fulham on a Friday night. Been there before. Woohoo!
See you soon.
Bye-bye.